The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 306. We've been saying since the season ended that if any major news broke, we would be on as soon as we could to discuss it. Let me start by saying this, Ryan. I can't stand arrogant people. I think one of the worst personality traits you can have as a person is to be arrogant and full of yourself and a know-it-all. However, having said that, there is part of me sitting here right now feeling extremely vindicated that Maple Leaf management seemed to have saw things the way we do and the way a lot of the fan base does by signing John Tavares to a 4-year extension with an AAV of 4. I repeat, $4.38 million. I'm sorry to all those fans who were desperate to hand this guy $7 million AAV, but right off the bat, take your hat off to Brad Treliving. This is a tidy piece of work. And I also think, as much as we've been hard on him in these last few weeks, take your hat off to John Tavares, because this is the first Leaf superstar who has put the team and a hometown discount ahead of trying to squeeze every last dollar they possibly could. So hat tip to both guys here.
Yeah, this is a round of applause, and this has been what I've been saying for months. Just tap them on the shoulder and go, you're taking this or you're out of here. And we're not bluffing. And you don't have any leverage. You want to stay here. We don't really care. We're ready to move on anyways and find the next DNA of our team. So it just never made sense to pay this guy a lot of money. It never made sense. And I love the people tail between their legs right now. And I'm looking at some of the comments on IG and guys are like, take the C, cut his salary in half. Johnny doesn't deserve this. It's like,
people are like, what? What is your problem?
Why are you so obsessed with just like a guy who's a hockey? Like, I don't understand what the obsession is to like the human being aspect of. Like, you don't know John Tavares. I don't know what type of guy he is. I don't know him personally. Like, this is a hockey team that deals with salary caps and contract negotiations. Like, I don't understand this people obsession with just the player and the person. It's just like, it's ridiculous how attached, and it's not just this team, it's the whole city. We've referenced this before. It's crazy how attached people in the city get to certain personalities and to certain players, and we just want to give them everything, and they can never leave, and we got to give them this, we got to give them that. It's like, no, they dug their heels in here, and guess what? These people who were originally crying are going to be very, very happy in a couple weeks when they have an additional $4 to $5 million in cap space to play with.
Thank you. I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I don't want to spend too much time on these people. We need to talk about John Tavares, but there are fans, and it's very difficult for you and I to get our heads around because we're not like this. We're on the other side of the spectrum. But there are sports fans who I truly believe do not care about results. Like, they don't care. They like their favorite players, and they tune in every night to cheer for their favorite players. And if they win, great. If they lose, oh, well, we'll get them next time. And they kind of forego the fact that this is a business, and they're still working on the Matt Nyes extension. Open up Twitter right now. They are wheeling and dealing in the National Hockey League now. Noah Dobson, the Habs just picked up Noah Dobson. Like there's shit going down in the National Hockey League right now. Kipper reported this morning the Leafs are shopping Nick Robertson. Like, they have limited draft picks this weekend. Treliving's probably trying to figure out how he can turn those into more, trading up, trading down. There's all kinds of, it's a business, people. It's a business. And John Tavares is a very important player on this team, but he's also in his mid-30s.
Yeah.
He also has never been fleet of foot, and the older he gets, the slower he's going to get. And at some point, he's not going to be your 2C anymore. He's going to be your 3C or maybe even your 4C. And paying a 3C or a 4C $7 to $8 million is too much money. moments after he signed, Pierre LeBrun said there was an offer out there in free agency for him. He didn't name the team, but it was 2 years at $8 million per. So he could have left and got double what he's getting from the Leafs, basically.
This is why this never made sense. Like, he was never leaving. He doesn't want to leave. And look around the league, man. Like, guys who are useful players entering their mid to late 30s, these are the unless you're Brad Marchand, who just like John Tavares has had a better career statistically than Brad Marchand, but we saw what Brad Marchand did in the playoffs this year. John Tavares has never come close to doing that in his entire career. So that's a little bit of a different story. But when you're late in your career in your 30s, like, these are the type of deals you got to sign if you want to stay somewhere. Like, it's just simple as that. That's what Tampa did with Stamkos. He didn't take it. See you later, bud. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you really want to be here, we can't be paying 35-year-olds $8 million. Like, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. You can't be doing that. Especially if you want to win. Like, and you've made your money too. That's what kills me about the situation. It's not like this guy's been making $5.5 million for the last 7 years. The guy's been making $11 million. Like, come on. Like,
the guy signed a $77 million contract. That's generational wealth.
Pretty sure he's made over $100 million in his career, like, based off the first contract as well. So, like, we're pretty close to it, plus the endorsements in Toronto and all that crap. So it's just like, I don't feel bad for the guy. If you want to stay with a team and you're an older dude, you got to take a contract like this. And I'm so happy the Leafs dug in.
100%. Like I said, hat tip to Brad Treliving. Brian Hayes has been talking about this a lot on Overdrive, and I want to get your take on it. With Marner set to leave on Tuesday and the perception around the Leafs star players around getting every last dollar they can get their hands on, do you think this is a good thing PR-wise for John Tavares to be like, I took a hometown discount? Like, we know he didn't want to leave, but it is reported he could have left and got up to $8 million on the open market. So the fact is he did take a hometown discount. So I think this is anything you want to say about John Tavares, the hockey player, you got to give him credit for this.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the way other media talks about it sounds a little dramatic. But yeah, it is something. Like, if it is something that he could put in his back pocket now. Like, I took a team-friendly deal to stay here, and any production he taking the pressure off himself, quite frankly, too. Like what about talking about playing for a lot? Like, obviously you want to make the big bucks, but with big bucks comes pressure. Like, now you can sit back and it's like, hey man, I'm making 4.3. I could put 20 home a year now, and that's acceptable for that type of coin. So I think it does help his PR. And I also think internally it would take a lot of pressure off him as well to just 100%. Go out there and let it all loose. He doesn't have to live up to any number. No one's talking about it. Everyone's happy. And whatever you get from him now, it's if he scores 38 goals again, that's incredible value. And if he dips down to 20 goals a season, then that's good. That's good for me. So yeah, I think it was a good move for him PR wise.
And to this point about how much money he's made, Luke Fox is tweeting out a quote from Tavares right now, and it says, I get to do what I love. Well, it starts by saying he's happy and relieved that the deal's done. And then there's a quote that says, I get to do what I love, what I've been doing since I was a kid. And even though I obviously left some money out there, I've done pretty well. I'm still doing pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's like this team, it's not like this team sucks either. Like, realistically, like the Florida Panthers won the President's Trophy a couple of years ago and went out in the first round, and it was like, look kind of bleak. And then they found a way to turn around. This team might be a move or two or three away from still being it's not like he's rejoining a bum franchise. It's like, no, you're taking less money. What do you have left to accomplish in your career? Win a Stanley Cup. So how are you going to do that? You're going to give your team more flexibility to go out and get better players to play around you, play with you. Like, it makes all the sense in the world. Like, is he worth? I honestly think if they signed him for like $5.5 million, I probably would have been like, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
but to take such a small number
to get it in the fours is really impressive.
Like
work by Brad Treliving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's great. I wonder how much back and forth they had in terms of the dollar and the term, because I always thought the term was going to be a bit longer because of the
to get the AAV,
and I was fine
lower,
with that. Like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about that. But yeah, I wonder how much of a discussion it was.
Everyone's assumed it'll be a Chris Tanev situation where maybe he doesn't end up playing in the fourth year of this deal. Because by the time he hits the fourth year,
You don't think Chris Tanev is playing by the 4th year of his deal? I don't know what team you're watching.
Ryan, Chris Tanev might not be able to walk by the 4th year of his deal.
And he would still be just as good as any dude who's played here for the past 10 years.
Beat up player he led the playoffs in getting hit by a wide margin.
I guarantee you that guy's playing until he's 40 years old.
Guy's an absolute warrior.
Yeah.
I would 100% be okay with Brad Treliving bringing in his brother at some point. Just another Tanev is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
But they listen, a tidy piece of business, very, very, very well done. Hat tip to John Tavares. Got a hat, now the focus shifts to Matty Nyes, and we'll see what goes on in the draft tonight. The league is moving and shaking, man. Every time you refresh Twitter, there's all kinds of things going on. There was reported yesterday the Panthers have approached their 3 free agents with deals. They've offered Brad Marchand a contract. We'll see where that goes. There's lots in the hopper right now, buddy. Lots. And like I said, the Habs pick up Noah Dobson. That's a great pickup for the Montreal Canadiens, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see about that. But
yeah, all right. Okay, you're not
giving the Habs any love on this episode. I'm sorry. Can't do it.
Man, I'm scrolling through it right now, and so many people are just you open the comments of Tavares saying I wanted to stay and I left money on the table, and everyone's like, show this to 16, show this to 16, show this to the guy who declined the richest contract in Leaf history.
Yeah, and the guy who's. I was thinking about something the other day too after we did our episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how Mitch Marner is worth $14 million. I don't understand it. The guy has only eclipsed 100 points once in his career. I don't know. It's a whole different conversation. But I was just sitting there the other night being like, is this guy actually worth this money? I don't understand. Why is he all of a sudden just the highest paid player in the NHL? Don't give me the cap going up shit, because he would have been signing the same contract even if the cap wasn't going up.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, and somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong. The teams that are contenders like the LAs and the Vegases, it's kind of assumed that he'll sign for in the 12 range. Whereas, if he goes and signs with the Anaheim Ducks or something, it'll be in the 14s. And you've pointed this out, and I actually agree with you. I think the Anaheim Ducks paying Mitch Marner 14 to 15 million actually makes sense to me in the sense that they're a team. Mitch Marner will get you to the playoffs. They're a team that's got a shitload of cap space
who need that dude who can come in and actually facilitate and get shit done. Actually has a resume.
That team's got a shitload of cap space. The cap is only going up and up and up every year. So, we'll see.
I'm so sick of that already. I am so sick of hearing how the cap's going up already. I am
Why? In what sense?
Tired of it. Just now, every single contract negotiation in this offseason that it cannot be talked about. It's just brought up every single time. Whoever signs anything, that will be brought up along with the number, what the number is going to be. It's just right now, it's just tied to every single contract that's going to be signed this offseason.
Well, because I think the issue is the players are approaching it, and they were talking about this on the radio the other day. Just because you're $3 million, just because the cap's going up, you don't go from a $3 million player to a $4 million player to a $5 million player. But the players are like, actually, yes, we do. And the teams are like, no, you don't. If you're a $3.5 million player, just because the salary cap's on the rise, you don't all of a sudden become a $4.5 million player.
Well, there's a lot of murky. It's the top players are going to get massive amounts of money. There's no two ways about it. That's why Mitch Marner is going to sign a massive deal. I mean, do I think he's in the top 5 best players in the NHL? No. Do I think he's in the top 10? I'd have to sit down and look at the list, but probably not either, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But Noah Dobson, for example, the report that he's going to be asking for double-digit contract from the New York Islanders, I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the Habs are going to do. But paying a guy like that $10 million is ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just an Evan Bouchard is going to be another guy who's going to be looking for a massive payday. And it's the guy's good in the playoffs, but you want that guy on your books with Darnell? It's just those type of players who aren't exactly at the top echelon. Those players beneath that that are really productive players, but just like, I don't know if I could actually hand Evan Bouchard a contract that says like $11 million on it. I just don't think I could.
Another quote from John Tavares, who's on Zoom with the media right now. My belief in us to win is extremely high, and I want to keep going forward and giving it every crack we've got to get where we want to get to. So John Tavares is hitting all the right notes PR-wise right now. This is what we talk about with some of these other guys about how terrible they are at the PR game, and all Leaf fans want to hear is, I took less to be here and I want to be here, and that's it. And John Tavares just bought himself years of goodwill in this fan base.
I have to. They signed Noah Dobson to a $9.5 million contract for 8 years.
So there you go.
Yeah, still a lot of money. I don't know. I haven't seen enough Noah Dobson. I know the guy had like 70 points a couple of years ago, but yeah, sorry, I just had to correct myself there. So some Ningus doesn't come off the top rope and elbow drop me.
A couple of things I wanted to hit on with you quickly before we get out of here. And like I said, we'll be back at some point next week after free agency to just discuss all of the goings on. First thing is, some of the details have leaked out about the new collective bargaining agreement between the National Hockey League Players Association and the NHL. Two things of note for me: 84 game season. So the days of you and I talking about strapping in for 82 are over. We'll be strapping in for 84 in the 26-27 season. Now, they are eliminating 2 preseason games, so at the end of the day, it's the same number of games. So just 2 more count in the standings. So it's not really as jarring as it comes off.
Yeah, I don't really... Like, I just think the only problem with that is that I think it's just the season needs to end a little bit earlier. That'd be like the only... Like, they're never going to reduce the amount of games, but maybe you can move it up like a week or 2. I don't really know what the scheduling hurdles are there, but just handing the cup out at the end of June isn't really the sexiest thing to me.
And the other one is eliminating the burying money in LTIR only to resurrect it come playoff time. And I'm not surprised that this is a thing that teams have complained about and the league is eradicating. I don't think we know the details of how exactly it'll work, but the days of shutting Matthew Tkachuk down and using that money to go and get Brad Marchand and then reactivating Matthew Tkachuk in game 1 of the playoffs are over.
Yeah, it was... I mean, the Leafs did use this a lot, and it was very useful for them. But the problem with the way Florida uses it is their team has just so much more depth. So it's like they can sit Matthew Tkachuk, and it's not going to affect where they finish in the regular season or them missing the playoffs or anything like that. So it's just those 2 Florida teams in particular just had such deep rosters during that time, and Vegas too. Had deep rosters during that time that they were able to take advantage of that in such a prominent way. So I'm not really surprised that's gone. And yeah, I think it's like cheating in a way. Like, I mean, it was a rule, you had to take advantage of it, but it doesn't really make much sense if you really sit and think about it. So I'm not really surprised that they ended up getting rid of that.
Details continue to leak in here. John Tavares' 4-year extension comes with a no-move clause for the first 2 seasons and then shifts to a 5-team trade list after that. So it's not a full no-move for the entire term, which is, again, pretty good.
No, it's great. Yeah, no, I'm fine with all the crap you want to throw in there, all the bonuses, all the extra stuff. Anything to keep that number down, man. I don't care.
Last thing, I just wanted to discuss this a little bit before we get out of here. With tonight's the draft, and the other day I sent you a article from Josh Cloak, and I'm just going to read the title of it that he put on Twitter. The Maple Leafs drafted 12 players in 2020, and 5 years later, they have not gotten a single NHL game out of their largest draft class in a generation. That was a Kyle Dubas draft. And if you go back through Kyle Dubas's entire tenure drafting players for this franchise, outside of Matthew Nyes, I can't name you one that has made a significant impact. Because I looked it up. Joe Wall was drafted by Lou.
Yeah.
This Easton Cowan was drafted by Brad Treliving. Yeah. And he hasn't even played an NHL game yet. And
So
I think, when we look at the situation the Leafs find themselves in with Marner leaving and having to rework contracts and needing to get Tavares on a bargain and having to change DNA, that article right there and all this other stuff just comes back to what a fucking brutal job Kyle Dubas did as general manager of this hockey team, and Brendan Shanahan allowing him to do such a brutal job. It's like and I know they've traded a lot of draft capital away at deadlines and all that kind of stuff, so that is also accurate. But to be in a position where you've got pretty much nothing in the cupboard right now except for Easton Cowan and good guy Benny Danford, it's bleak, man.
And what about all those guys they had on the payroll too,
I know.
within the organization, who are all just like up and coming geniuses? And I mean, that's also a part of the DNA change too. Here is like, what was their payroll for front office guys in 2020, 2021? Just probably
out of this world.
Absurd. Just so many dudes doing so many different jobs, and at the end of the day, anyone involved in the pro scouting or like amateur scouting department, they stink. They didn't really do anything. So yeah, it's ugly.
Again, the Leafs don't have a ton of picks this weekend, so Brad Treliving and his scouting staff need to do a good job, and you got to find a gem late in the draft. Like you have,
or just identify a type of player that you want. I mean, Matthew Nye going in the 50s or whatever it was. Like, that's ridiculous how that guy slipped that far down that draft, and you're looking at everyone ahead of him and you're like, how the hell did this guy slip that far? So you can find an extremely impact play. It's a crapshoot, but you can find an impact player in the second round because there's proof. Matthew Nye is right there.
The Leafs will be picking 64th overall, end of the second round, 86th overall, which is in the third round, 137th and 153rd, which is the fifth round, 185th, which is the sixth round, and 217th, which is the seventh round. So these guys got their work cut out for them trying to find a gem late in this draft. And again, I could see Treliving maybe. I think when you get to a point in the draft where you're not in the top, like, I don't know, you and I are not
10.
Top 10, top 20.
Anything past the top 15, like, it's kind of a, depending on the year. Yeah,
it's a crapshoot. So if you can take the 64th overall pick and trade it for 2 or 3 more later on in the draft, because you're taking flyers on guys anyway, like, why not?
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot of examples around the NHL of extremely talented, prominent hockey players getting picked late in the draft. So it's up to their whole amateur scouting department to just try and find somebody who fits some sort of criteria that they're trying to fill within their organization.
Nikita Kucherov was selected 58th overall.
Yeah, that's insane. Braden Point, what was it, like 4th round or second round? Or I don't know what the hell it was, but insane. Yeah. The guy's literally top player on Team Canada. So you can get him. You just have to you gotta have a good staff and know what you're looking for.
Yep. All right, buddy. We're gonna get out of here. Like I said, we will be back early next week to discuss the goings on of what happened over the draft weekend and on free agency. If you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe button below. If you're listening to the audio version, please like, subscribe, review. It really helps us out. We are pumping out content for you guys all throughout the summer. So give us a hand. Hit the like and subscribe.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys next week.